Sebastian Vettel has been frequently linked to a return to the world of motorsport, yet it seems that his Formula One comeback may not happen as soon as anticipated. However, he's now eyeing an opportunity in the 24-hour Le Mans endurance race. This prestigious event was always a major goal for Vettel, and it appears that the stars may finally be aligning for him to participate. But could this move serve as a stepping stone for something even bigger? Is Vettel strategically staying in shape for a potential Formula One return in the future? The announcement of Vettel's retirement at the end of the 2022 season was a surprise to many, especially since he was still racing for Aston Martin at that time. However, considering the team's struggles and their inability to score points, the decision seemed logical. With the team stuck in the midfield, Vettel realized that continuing to compete at this level wasn't the best use of his skills. Yet, since stepping away from Formula One, he hasn't closed the door entirely on a possible return. Now, it seems that before fully committing to any comeback, Vettel may explore a different path, possibly in endurance racing. One opportunity has arisen with Porsche, who have an open seat for the 2025 Le Mans race. The German automaker has expressed their interest in this possibility. In fact, when speaking about the upcoming Porsche Penske hypercar entry, Porsche's director, O. Kattler, mentioned the vacancy, saying, "We are currently looking for a third driver, and Vettel is certainly someone we're considering. While nothing is confirmed, we are open to the idea." Though there's no certainty about Vettel joining Porsche, it's clear that he is keen to remain competitive. Having spoken to several former drivers who retired and later found the transition to life outside the racing world dull, Vettel understands that staying active in motorsports could help maintain his sharpness. In fact, if Le Mans doesn't work out, he may consider joining the World Endurance Championship. This would not only keep him in racing but also keep his skills honed in case an opportunity in Formula One arises. Even though these could be his main racing options, it's clear that Vettel's ultimate goal remains Formula One. Similar to his idol Michael Schumacher, who revitalized Mercedes before they went on to win multiple championships, Vettel may be eyeing a similar path. But how realistic is this comeback, and what does the future hold for him? The situation surrounding Vettel's potential return to Formula One is becoming more intriguing by the day. Although he was initially linked with a return to the sport through Audi, those talks have not materialized. This raises the question, will Vettel wait for the right opportunity? He's made it clear that he's not actively pursuing a Formula One seat, but would consider it if the conditions were right. For the moment, the reality is that Vettel would need to wait for a vacancy in the sport, something that's unlikely to occur before 2026. Earlier this year, Vettel reflected on his decision to retire, admitting that it wasn't easy. "It was a tough choice, and it still stings a bit," he said. "But after being away for over a year now, I feel at peace with it. There are things I miss and there are things I don't. Formula One today is an incredibly intense environment. The schedule is grueling, and it's not just the drivers who feel the pressure, everyone in the team does. From engineers to the media." Despite the challenges, Vettel is content with his decision to retire. However, he acknowledges that there is a growing wave of young, ambitious drivers eager to prove themselves in the sport. Yet Vettel also points out that Formula One isn't just about raw speed. Experience, especially when it comes to understanding how a car should perform and what improvements are needed, is crucial. This is an area where some teams on the grid would be more than happy to bring in a veteran like Vettel. Looking ahead, the landscape of Formula One is set to change significantly from 2026 onward with the introduction of new regulations. This could present a unique opportunity for experienced drivers like Vettel. However, the balancing act between electrification and traditional combustion engines will be a huge challenge for teams. With so much uncertainty, teams will need drivers with extensive knowledge to help navigate this transition, making Vettel's experience even more valuable. As we approach the 2026 era, the future of Formula One is filled with questions. Teams will face an entirely new set of challenges, particularly when it comes to understanding how to balance the power of electrification with that of internal combustion engines. This shift is expected to be particularly difficult for teams that are not known for their reliable engine designs. In this uncertain environment, experienced drivers who understand the finer details of car performance will be a critical asset to any team looking to stay competitive. While Vettel's return to Formula First may not seem likely in the immediate future, there's always the possibility that a gap could open up. It's possible that some teams could be in need of an experienced driver to help them navigate the early days of these new regulations. This is especially true for teams that might be struggling to get their car setups right as they work to adapt to the new technologies. This scenario may seem unlikely, but it's important to note that in motorsport, opportunities can arise when least expected. The influx of young talent in Formula One is undeniable, but it's also worth remembering that there's always room for veterans who can provide valuable insight into improving a car's performance. If Vettel were to make a return, it would likely be under very specific circumstances, perhaps with a team that is struggling and needs someone with his expertise to help them regain their footing. Vettel's future in Formula First may also depend on the state of the teams he could potentially join. Aston Martin, where he raced before retiring, could be one such team to watch. While his tenure at Aston Martin wasn't without its challenges, particularly when it came to internal team dynamics, the team has since undergone significant changes. They have brought in top-tier engineers from other teams and appear to be pushing toward becoming a more competitive force in the future. Given that Alonso is nearing the end of his career and Lance Stroll seems to have a long-term position with the team, Aston Martin could be in need of a veteran driver to help guide their development, especially with the introduction of new regulations. However, there is also the challenge of navigating a potential reunion with a team that might still carry some of the baggage from Vettel's previous time there. A fresh start could be the key to making such a return work. In addition, Aston Martin's partnership with Honda starting in 2026 could significantly affect the team's strategy moving forward. With Honda providing power units for the team, there could be increased pressure to bring in experienced drivers to optimize the performance of the car. This could open the door for Vettel to return, though it would likely require a shift in team dynamics and goals. One of the most interesting perspectives comes from Flavio Briatore, a close friend of Vettel, who has shared his thoughts on whether Vettel should return to Formula One. Briatore believes that there is no real need for Vettel to make a comeback, especially after all he has already achieved in his career. Having won 4 championships with Red Bull, Vettel is considered one of the most successful drivers of his generation. His time with Ferrari, though marked by frustration over missed titles, still highlighted his skills as a top driver, particularly in the seasons when he came close to winning the championship. Despite his accomplishments, Briatore suggests that Vettel should enjoy his retirement, noting that many of his contemporaries, including Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, have continued to race beyond the expected retirement age. These two drivers, particularly Alonso, have shown that age doesn't necessarily determine success in Formula One. Alonso at 43 is still competing at a high level, proving that experience can be just as important as youthful energy. Vettel, now 37, is younger than Hamilton and significantly younger than Alonso. This makes the idea of a return less outlandish, especially considering his extensive experience and 4 championship titles. However, just like any potential comeback, Vettel would have to adjust to the changes in Formula One, including the shift to the 2026 regulations. While he may be rusty initially, his extensive knowledge of racing and car setups would still give him an edge over many of the younger drivers on the grid. Although a return to Formula One seems unlikely in the near future, the sport has a history of surprising comebacks. Drivers like Hülkenberg and Alonso have defied the odds and found success after time away from the sport. Whether or not Vettel will follow in their footsteps remains to be seen, but his name is far from being forgotten in the world of motorsport. So, what do you think? Do you believe Vettel has what it takes for a successful return to Formula One, or should he stick with his current path? And if he does make a comeback, which team do you think would be the best fit for him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out our latest video for more updates on the world of Formula One.